Alright, welcome back to Let's Play Skyrim. Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, or Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. We'll read some books. I'm gonna read this out loud so you can skip this if you do not want to watch this episode. And just a bunch of reading, so I'm just gonna get started right now. The effects of the Elder Scrolls. It is widely known among scholars that the Elder Scrolls entail a certain hazard in their very reading. The mechanism of the effects has, at present, been largely unknown. Theories of the hidden knowledge and the divine retribution were the subject of idle speculation with little investigation. I, Justinius... What the hell does that say? Justinius Dolubnius? This is that Dolubnius have undertaken to thoroughly document the ailments afflicted by the Elder Scrolls on their readers, though a unified theory of how they manifest continues to elude me and remains a subject for future study. I have grouped the effects into four. Finding the avenue of experience depends largely upon the mind of the reader. If this is unclear, I hope that a proper dictonomy will lay it plain. Group the first. The knaves, for one. The knaves? Oh, group the first. The knaves. That was just a title. For one who has received no training in the history or nature of the Elder Scrolls, the scroll itself is, effectively, inert. No prophecy can be scribed, nor knowledge obtained. While the scroll will not impart learning to the uninformed, nor will it afflict them in any adverse fashion. Visually, the scroll will appear to be awash in odd lettering and symbols. Those who know their astronomy often claim to recognize constellations in the patterns and connections, but such conjecture is impossible to further investigate, since the very nature of the study necessitates unlearned subjects. Group the second, the unguarded intellects. It is the second group that realizes the greatest danger from attempting to read the scrolls. These are subjects who have an understanding of the nature of the Elder Scrolls and possess sufficient knowledge to actually read what is inscribed there. They have not, however, developed adequate discipline to stave off the mind-sharing effect of having a glimpse of infinity. These unfortunate souls are struck immediately, invocably, and completely blind. Such is the price of overreaching one's faculties. It bears mentioning, though, that with the blindness also comes a fragment of hidden knowledge. Whether the future, the past, or the deep natures of being is dependent on the individual and their place in the greater spheres. But the knowledge does come. Group the third, meditated understanding. Alone in Tamriel, it would appear that only the cult of the ancestor Moth has discovered the discipline to properly guard one's mind when reading the scrolls. Novitiates must undergo the most rigorous mental cultivation, and they often spend a decade or more at the monastery before being allowed to read their first Elder Scroll. The monks say this is for their initiates' own protection, as they must have witnessed many unguarded intellects among their more eager ranks. With appropriate fortitude, these readers also receive blindness, through the far lesser magnitude than the unguarded. Their vision fogs slightly, but they can retain shape, color, and enough acuity to continue to read mundane texts. The knowledge they gain from the scroll is also tempered somewhat. It requires stages of meditation and reflection to fully appreciate and express what one saw. Group the fourth, in illuminated understanding. Between the previous group and this one exists... Between the previous group and this one exists a continuum that has, at present, only been traversed by the monks of the ancestor Moth. With continued readings, the monks become gradually more and more blind, but receive greater and more detailed knowledge. As they spend their waking hours pondering the revelations, they also receive a further degree of mental fortitude. There is, for every monk, a day of... What is that a day? An ultimate reading. When the only knowledge the Elder Scroll imparts is that the monk's next reading shall be his last. For each monk that an ultimate reading has... comes! What the hell? What is it has? At a different and unknowable time. Preliminary work has been done to predict the occurrence by charting the severity of an individual monk's blindness. But all who reach these later stages report that the increasing blindness seems to taper with increased readings. Some post the notion that some other unseen sense is, in fact, continuing to diminish at this upper range, but I shall leave such postulations to philosophers. Philosophers, yes. The hell was that? Some post the notion that some other unseen sense is, in fact, continue to diminish. To prepare for his ultimate reading. What is up with the ultimate and ultimate reading? A monk typically withdraws to seclusion in order to reflect upon a lifetime of revelations and appoint his mind for reception of his last. Upon this final reading, he is forever blinded, as sure as those unguarded ones who race to knowledge. Oh my god. The illuminated one, though, has retained his understanding over a lifetime and typically possesses a more integral notion of what has been revealed to him. It is hoped that this catalog will prove useful to those who wish to further our moral understanding of the Elder Scrolls. The moth-priests remain aloof about these matters, taking gradual debilitation that comes with reading as a point of pride. May this serve as a useful starting point for those hoping to take up such study. Oh God. Dictated to Anstius Mechim, fourth of last seed in the 126th year of the Second Era. And I took that. Oh well. Now let's read this. Ruminations on the Elder Scrolls by Septimus Cygnus, College of Winterhold. Imagine living beneath the waves with a strong-sided blessing of most excellent fabric. Holding the fabric over your gills, you would begin to drink its warp and whiff. What the hell? Though the plant matter fibers imbue your soul, the wretched plankton would pollute the cloth until it stank to heavens of prophecy. What the fuck? This is one matter in which the scrolls first came to pass. But are we the sea, or the breather, or the fabric? Or are we the breath itself? Can we flow through the scrolls as knowledge flows through, being the water, or are we the stuck morass of sea filth that gathers on the edge? Imagine again this time, but different. A bird cresting the wind is lifted by a gust and down by a stone. But the stone can come from above if the bird is upside down. Where then did the gust come from, and which direction? Did the gods send either, or has the bird decreed their presence by her own might-making? The all-sight of the scrolls makes a turning point of the mind, such that its relative positions are absolute in their primacy. What the hell? I suck at this. I ask you again to imagine for me. This time you are beneath the ground. A tiny acorn planted by some well-meaning elf maiden of the woodlands for her pleasure. You wish to grow, but fear what you will become, so you push off the water, the dirt, the sun, to stay in your hole. But it is in the very pushing that you become a tree, in spite of yourself. How did that happen? The acorn is kind of a tree egg in this instance, and knowledge is water and sun. We are the chicken inside the egg, but also the dirt. The knowledge from the scrolls is what we push against to become full-sighted ourselves. One final imagining before your mind closes from the shock of ever knowing. You are now a flame burning bright blue within a vast emptiness. In time, you see your brothers and sisters, burnings of their own in the distance and along your side. A sea of pinpoints, a constellation of memories, each burns bright, then flickers. Then two more take its place, but not forever, lest the void fills with rancid light that sucks the thought. Each of our minds is actually the emptiness, and the learnings of the scrolls are the pinpoints. Without their stabbing light, my consciousness would be as a vast nothingness, unknowing its emptiness, as a void is unknowing of itself. But the burnings are dangerous, and must be carefully tended, and minded, and brought to themselves, and spread to their siblings.
I don't want to see you treating any of these books poorly. Hundreds of years have gone into assembling this collection. It's going to stay pristine, understand?
Yes, but this Ruminations book is incomprehensible.
Aye, that's the work of Septimus Cygnus. He's the world's master of the nature of Elder Scrolls, but, well, he's been gone for a long while. Too long.
He's dead?
Oh no, I hope not. But even I haven't seen him in years, and we were close. Became obsessed with the Dwemer. Took off north saying he had found some old artifact. Haven't seen him since. Somewhere in the ice fields, if you want to try to find him.